Chapter 1: The Deadly Encirclement. In the winter of 1944, as war continued to rage across the battlefields of Europe, a small Allied unit of 12 soldiers found themselves trapped in the grim Black Forest, encircled by enemy forces. Their supply lines had been completely severed, food was running out, and ammunition was dangerously low. Amidst the bone-chilling cold of the German winter, Lieutenant Mark, a middle-aged man with deep-set eyes burdened by the sorrows of war, had no choice but to wait for reinforcements in hopeless despair. The eerie silence of the radio waves only deepened the sense of doom looming over the soldiers. In their meager cache, only one last hope remained: Charlie, a messenger pigeon that Mark had trained since the earliest days of his enlistment. Charlie was more than just a means of communication. He was a companion, a symbol of hope that Mark deeply cherished. He remembered vividly the first time he had met Charlie, a tiny, injured fledgling lying helplessly by the roadside. Mark had nursed him back to health, and since then, Charlie had become an inseparable part of his life. Mark hastily tore a scrap of paper from his tattered notebook, his trembling hand scrawling a desperate plea. "We are trapped in the Black Forest. The enemy outnumbers us. Send reinforcements immediately. If not, we won't last much longer." With great care, he tied the message to Charlie's leg, gently stroked the bird's pristine white feathers, and whispered, "Fly, Charlie! The entire unit is counting on you." Chapter 2: A Song Across the Sky. Charlie spread his wings and darted into the thick snowfall, his small frame shuddering against the brutal winds that threatened to tear him apart. Above, a blizzard loomed, howling with a ferocity that could break even the strongest spirits. But Charlie pressed on, navigating by memory, recalling the path Mark had shown him countless times. It wasn't long before the enemy spotted him. The German snipers, fueled by hatred and discipline, took aim at the tiny silhouette cutting through the stormy sky. Bang! A bullet tore through Charlie's left wing. Agonizing pain shot through his fragile body as he faltered midair, blood trickling down, staining his feathers crimson. Yet, despite the searing agony, he continued, his frail wings beating against the merciless wind. Below, Mark and his comrades held their breath as they watched their last hope vanish into the distance. "Keep going, little one," Mark murmured, a flicker of hope in his war-weary eyes. Chapter 3: The Nightmare in the Dark. As darkness cloaked the Black Forest, death lurked in every shadow. The skeletal branches of leafless trees swayed like the twisted hands of specters, and the wind shrieked like the mournful cries of the damned. The soldiers, exhausted and starving, were losing hope. The silence of the battlefield was only interrupted by the soft, unsettling rustling of unseen figures moving through the undergrowth. Mark heard whispers in the wind, distorted voices, neither human nor beast. The bitter cold seeped into their bones, and as night deepened, glowing red eyes began to appear in the shadows, watching them, stalking them like predators awaiting the perfect moment to strike. Terror gripped the hearts of the men. It was no longer just war they were fighting. Something else was out there. Something beyond human comprehension. Chapter 4: The Journey Through Snow. Charlie pressed forward, his tiny eyes wide with panic as he sensed the unnatural presence below. Flickering lights dotted the forest floor, but they were not from Allied forces. Distant, blood-curdling howls echoed through the trees, and hidden among the shadows, pairs of crimson eyes gleamed with predatory hunger. His heart pounded as a massive owl suddenly burst from the darkness, talons outstretched, aiming to snatch him from the air. Charlie veered sharply, but his injured wings sent him spiraling dangerously low. He struggled to maintain altitude, skimming just above the frozen ground, his instincts screaming for him to press on. Chapter 5: The Blood of Sacrifice. At the Allied base, a sentry finally spotted a lone bird staggering toward them through the snowstorm. When they picked up Charlie's trembling body, his feathers were soaked in blood, ice clinging to his tiny form. His glassy eyes remained open, as if he had glimpsed something horrifying before reaching his destination. The message was retrieved, and within minutes, reinforcements were mobilized. Charlie had completed his mission, but he would never fly again. Chapter 6: The Curse of the Black Forest. By the time reinforcements reached Mark's coordinates, the scene they encountered was chilling. There were no signs of life, only empty bullet casings, torn uniforms scattered across the snow, and footprints that led nowhere, swallowed by the storm. It was as if the soldiers had simply vanished. Rumors spread that the Black Forest had long been a battleground of forgotten wars, a place where spirits of the fallen never truly left. Legends whispered that those who entered without permission were doomed to become part of its eternal nightmare. Chapter 7: The Mysterious Disappearance. Survivors who had fought in the Black Forest claimed that on the last night before the unit disappeared, they had heard voices, unnatural whispers echoing from all directions, drawing closer with every passing moment. They saw figures moving between the trees, flickering in and out of existence, neither friend nor foe. The soldiers had fired blindly into the darkness, but no bullets could stop the encroaching dread. Then, as suddenly as they appeared, the figures melted into the night. And Mark, along with his unit, was never seen again. Chapter 8: The Immortal Legend. Though the fate of Mark and his comrades remains unknown, the story of Charlie, the fearless messenger pigeon, became legend. On frigid winter nights, soldiers whispered tales of a faint rustling of wings echoing through the Black Forest, a spectral reminder of bravery and sacrifice. Some claimed that those who dared venture into the cursed woods could still find tiny bird tracks imprinted in the snow, an eternal message left by a hero long lost to time. Chapter 9: A Message from the Past. Decades later, an expedition uncovered a remarkably preserved pigeon carcass entombed in ice. Scientists carefully extracted a small, fragile note still secured to its leg. The message, though faded, was still legible. "We are trapped in the Black Forest. The enemy is not human." Chapter 10: The Unyielding Wings. Charlie may have died, but he was never forgotten. Even now, on the coldest winter nights, when the winds howl through the trees, some say a lone white bird can be seen soaring through the sky, a whisper of courage and sacrifice. And in the cursed depths of the Black Forest, some secrets remain forever buried in the darkness. Chapter 11: The Spirit of the Black Forest. The words, "The enemy is not human," on Charlie's message sent shivers down everyone's spine. What had really happened to Lieutenant Mark and his unit in the ominous Black Forest? A team of researchers, led by historian Anna Becker, decided to venture into the forest to uncover the truth. They brought along advanced equipment to record sounds and images, hoping to decipher the mystery behind the disappearance of the soldiers all those years ago. As they delved deeper into the forest, they discovered a hidden cave nestled within the mountain. Inside, strange ancient drawings covered the walls, depicting eerie figures with glowing red eyes and shadowy, beast-like forms. Carved into the stone was a nearly eroded inscription, yet still legible. "Those who enter this place will never return." Chapter 12: The Unexpected Return. As the team examined the cave, a chilling gust of wind suddenly swept through. A distant, unearthly wail echoed from the darkness. Anna and her colleagues froze in terror, realizing that something was emerging from the shadows of the storm. Then, without warning, a massive flock of black crows descended upon them, attacking with razor-sharp claws and blood-stained beaks. In the birds' crimson eyes they saw horrific reflections: the missing soldiers, the battlefield drenched in blood, and the haunted visage of Mark, trapped in an endless nightmare. Anna and her team ran for their lives, but the crows' relentless assault grew fiercer. Death felt inevitable. Then suddenly, a blinding white light split the sky. A familiar fluttering sound filled the air. Charlie! From the heart of the blizzard, Charlie soared down like a streak of light, his once snow-white feathers now glowing with an ethereal radiance. He had returned. Chapter 13: The Power of Hope. Charlie dove fearlessly into the swarm of crows. His eyes no longer held fear, only unyielding resolve. With every beat of his wings, a pure white light radiated outward, causing the monstrous crows to shriek in agony before vanishing into the void. Anna watched in awe and disbelief. Charlie was no longer just an ordinary carrier pigeon. He had become a beacon of courage, a guardian of lost souls. As the last of the cursed crows disappeared, Charlie gently landed on Anna's shoulder. Though small in form, his eyes carried the weight of an untold story of sacrifice. Anna, her hands trembling, stroked Charlie's soft feathers. "Thank you, and thank you to those who gave everything." Charlie let out a resounding cry, then took to the sky once more. But this time, he was not alone. Hundreds of small lights followed him, like souls finally freed from the curse of the Black Forest. Chapter 14: The Legend of Charlie. After that fateful night, Anna and her team emerged safely from the forest. But they knew something still lingered within. Not an evil presence, but a watchful protector. Charlie was not just a pigeon. He had become a legend. People whispered that on cold winter nights, if you ever lost your way in the Black Forest, you should look to the sky. If Charlie appeared, it meant there was still hope for you to make it home. Chapter 15: Eternal. Years later, a statue of white stone was erected at the entrance of the Black Forest. It depicted Charlie, his wings spread wide, reaching toward the heavens. Inscribed at the base were the words, "Charlie, the symbol of hope and courage. Those who are lost, look to the sky." And on snowy nights, as darkness cloaked the forest, people would sometimes see a small silhouette gliding across the sky. Charlie was still there, and he would never be forgotten. Charlie's story is more than just a tale of war and mystery. It is a testament to the enduring power of hope, loyalty, and sacrifice. From the frozen battlefields of World War II to the eerie depths of the Black Forest, Charlie's journey teaches us that true bravery is not measured by size or strength, but by the willingness to face darkness for the sake of others. Even in the most hopeless moments, hope can take flight in the smallest of forms: a fragile pigeon against a storm, a whispered prayer in the heart of despair. And though time may bury the past, true courage leaves an eternal mark. Charlie's spirit lives on as a reminder that no sacrifice is ever forgotten, no act of bravery ever fades, and no soul truly disappears when it has touched the lives of others. So whenever the night seems endless and the road uncertain, look to the sky, for even the smallest wings can carry the weight of a miracle.